You don't see, if you're not mindful, you don't see the gap. If your habit is very strong, there seems to be no gap, but there is a gap. And in this gap, you shape your future. Or he says, I think, you create your happiness or your suffering. So the mindfulness meditation, which means training in sitting and bringing the mind back again and again and again and again, daily. Sorry for being so hard, but that's what it means. If you want to develop mindfulness, I think we have to start talking tacheles here. If you want to have a quiet mind, you need to sit daily. Even if it's just 10 minutes. And you need to have a group that you are very committed to, and you go as if you would be leading the group, or as if you are the one having the key who needs to open the door. Means you go, no matter how you feel. If you're sick, you don't go. But you know, if you say, I don't feel like going, should I go, should I not go? You go. And you go with an attitude, not so much, what can this group do for me, but with an attitude, what can I do for this group? Because thanks to this group, I can go and train. Because alone, I'm sorry to say that, but alone, just with a book, you will never develop mindfulness. I'm sorry, it's a big illusion. But I'm talking mindfulness, being present all the time. I'm talking about serious mindfulness, not just when you sit or, maybe 2 seconds in the day, oh, I know my hand is reaching out for the cup. No, talking about this kind of mindfulness. Talking about a sustained mindfulness. The sustained mindfulness that you would have if you have to cross the highway by foot. You wouldn't be thinking what you will have for dinner. No? You see, mindfulness means memory. And it doesn't mean a memory, a conscious memory, my hand is going out and reaching down. The memory in sati is if you decide to go shopping in the morning, you make the decision and you go, and you don't need to say on the way there, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to the shop. You know that you want to go to the shop and you go to the shop because the memory of going to the shop is there. Do you see what I mean? So that needs to be developed. Not this, I don't want to put it down. An occasional checking in what's happening is already very good. Yeah? It's good, it's great, it's better than nothing. It's not enough. It's not enough to be free from suffering. And then, for example, as a spiritual practitioner, you would have this is why we always create the motivation at the beginning, is check the motivation. So as a spiritual practitioner, then the sati, the mindfulness would be, I want to attain enlightenment. I want to be free from suffering. So this would be the memory that is driving you. But we forget. I forget. I don't know about you guys. But I forget. I do all kinds of things that are not only not getting me closer to liberation from suffering and full awakening, but actually getting away from it. And then slowly. I'm so glad I have my commitments. And I'm so glad that still people ask me to teach, although it's like my memory is going big all over the place. Because I have to repeat this, because I hear what I'm saying. And then this is strengthening the mindfulness, the memory, the sati of knowing what I want to do, because I want to be free from suffering. I've had enough of it, but still not enough of enough. Still wasting my time. But I'm doing okay. So this is the other thing. I feel that the tendencies of doing stupid things are still quite strong. And it's also okay. I'm not judging myself. I'm not beating myself up. It's all right, So you are your own master. And this is what Viktor Frankl says. This is what makes Buddhism, another point that makes Buddhism very, very difficult. You have big responsibility. Yeah? You have big responsibility. You are Lama Zopa to me said at one point, he said, why don't you go to Syria? I said, well, because they don't invite me. And then he said, anyway, it's not so good to go to Muslim countries because, they don't, Buddhism doesn't believe in a creator God, and I think for the Muslims, I see it in the House of Religion in Bern. Those are the ones that, because we have 8 religions in the same house, and we're very good friends, but we discuss our views and philosophies and it's really the Muslims who go like, what? How can you live without believing in a creator? With the Jews, I don't have so much contact because they have a synagogue outside. But with Muslims, for them it's like, how can you live without belief in a creator? So then I said to Losang, I said, it's dangerous to go there because they think you're a heretic. Then he said, oh, you can tell them there is a creator. It's your mind. And it's true. Your mind is the creator of everything. Your mind. So you have it in your hands. I mean, there's this beautiful text which is called Liberation in the Palm of Your Hands. Yeah. And we carry it with us, you know, the potential to be happy, we carry it with us all the time. We're just not mindful of it. We forget it. You know, just to remind ourselves when you're in a bad mood, you can go like, I don't have to be grumpy. Just to give you the possibility, instead of just every time going along with these moods, just say, I don't have to be in a bad mood. I am at the moment, okay? Yeah, and then you can change the tendencies. Like Tsogni Rinpoche, I don't know if any of you have seen it on YouTube, this video, because he's afraid of heights. I mean, come on, he's Tibetan, or he's from Bhutan, yeah, even worse. It's like, you know, Tiger's Nest, the monastery there, all the way up, and he shouldn't be afraid of heights, but he is. And so what he said, don't neglect when you have these fears. You know, he said, so he says he's taking the telephone and phoning to his amygdala and telling him who's putting out these energies, or these, what are they putting out? You know, adrenaline or whatever, you know, to hormones. Yeah, thank you. And that's good. That covers a lot of stuff. If I say hormones, I'm glad. I don't need to be so specific. Thank you. Thank you. These hormones who prevent him from going on that bridge, and so he was a very high bridge in Malaysia, which is transparent, it's made out of glass on purpose, so that people, you know, sort of ooh, like that. And he couldn't. He wanted to cross it to go to the other tower, because he said otherwise it would have been, you know, going back in, going down, crossing the road. It was very hot, going up instead of just crossing the bridge. He couldn't. He could not. So he would say his amygdala, he would tell that one, look, it's real, but it's not true. Kind of, I think it's like this. This fear that you feel now is real. There is a real feeling of holding you back, but it's not true. So this is also when we have anger and all this. Jealousy, depression is real, and then generates some compassion, but it's not true. All the arguments that come with depression is not true. So the fear is real, but why the fear is there, that is not true. Because you can see everybody crossing that bridge and nobody's falling down. And with depression is like, there's not only these negative things in your life. You are a good person, and you know, whatever arguments you want to use. But the moment we think it's true, and not here, again, the thinking it's true is here, that's it. Then we are blocked. Okay? Okay. So for the fear, I think also Viktor Frankl, I read some of his quotes. He says, every day do something one thing that you're afraid of. Do it, don't just go like here. Make a note. Make a note, and then put it on your window, on your mirror, or window, or wherever. Put it on your mirror in the morning, and when you look at your face, okay, then you think, what shall I do today that I'm afraid of? Yeah. In the evening, you see the sticky paper again. Have I done something that I'm afraid of? Because it will strengthen your self-esteem also, you know, your courage. Now again, please be reasonable. And don't jump off a, 30-story building. And first you call the fireman. That would be stupid, yeah? You call the fireman and say, I'm going to jump off there. Could you please come? I want to see whether I survive. I need to see if I have the courage to jump. No, not like this, okay? But be kind to a person who is unkind, maybe, or something like that. Whatever. Plenty of things that we can do. Okay, so maybe just to go, what I mentioned it already a few times, what the perfections are. So we have, the first one is generosity. To learn, to train, to give freely as much as you can. And it's always tricky to talk like this in groups like this because we work on dana. Yeah, and then it sounds as if I want to manipulate you into giving money. So that I get a lot. I don't, because I don't need it yet. Yeah, so I can survive quite well with what I have. I go away from Israel without having been here for 3 months and given talks, and there's nothing left because of, plane ticket and all this. It's fine. If Tippi would be here, she'd go mad. Where is Iti? Yeah, so from my side it's fine. But what I'm saying because of you. So if you think you want to change generosity, the box there, perfect occasion. Now if you put very little, how can you be happy? Because what you are getting is really a lot. And I think those people who do practice, they know how much you get, isn't it? Otherwise you wouldn't be here anymore, the people that I know. And you also know that without these talks, without the group, there's no, with only books and YouTube, there is no way you would develop. Do you know that? Yeah, I think so. I couldn't, if there wouldn't be a group and I wouldn't have contact with other people, I'd just be watching TV the whole day and getting grumpier and grumpier and border, but still not being able to turn the off button. I know myself. I know how I am. So maybe you are not like this. Maybe you don't have these tendencies of being lazy. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, so then being generous is the wish to give as much as you can. That is being generous. It's a very clever mind that gives as little as possible. Yeah, it creates a certain amount of happiness because, when we started with Boaz, when we started to say we do this on donation, many people around us said, you're crazy, this never worked. The Israelis, they will be happy that they don't have to pay. And so I said, let's try. Boaz also said, let's try. And we did try. And look, it's still working since how many years? Yeah, many years. Many, many years. But the fear of the group is still always lingering behind. So I tell them, look, let go of the fear. When you can't pay your bills anymore, then we can start discussing. The system for the moment, it works. So it's okay. It's so beautiful. It gives, the group gives you the opportunity to be generous, and to be generous in a way for something that's not the generosity of a 10 shekel for a homeless or for a drug addict. You make it possible for them to invite other people to come and to rent those places like this. So then the karma you get from the money that goes in the box there is different than from the karma you get if you throw 10 shekel. You give 10 shekel to the homeless? Oh, okay, sorry, to give 50 agorot to the homeless. So now, I'm two extremes, so 2-3 shekel. Okay. So like this. But if you give the 50 agorot to the homeless person with the thought, one point, may I give you dharma, and you're really genuine about this, you giving me the opportunity by giving you this 50 agorot, by practicing generosity, I need to practice this in order to attain enlightenment. Thank you very much. At one point, may I repay that kindness, and may I give you dharma. Then the karma, like the positive energy, let's call it positive energy better than karma. The positive energy that, the thing that will increase, something that will grow, that you will get a result, is much, much bigger than putting $2 million in there. With the thought, I hope they will see from whom it is. And then to come and, I gave you so much money, now you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. So do you see what I mean? Do you understand? It doesn't matter the amount. It matters with what motivation you put it in. And then the motivation, you can cook one up, which is totally fake. You're not cheating anybody but yourself because you know. This is it. And it's your mind who's creating the karma. So when you cook up these motivations, deep down, your Buddha potential or your whatever, your wisdom, your own innate wisdom that we all have, it will know that it's just cooked up. Then it's even worse. They better not put anything. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? So generosity The purpose of generosity is not to make of your generosity. The main purpose is not to make the Dharma friends and other groups like, Rani. That is a side effect. The purpose of it is that you see your attachment. And you see it as limiting, as narrowness in here, as unhappiness. That's the purpose. So, if you want to, if you want to change, and whenever there's an occasion to come, I tell you, it takes a long time until you happily give. How to give, we talk about it this afternoon, maybe, or tomorrow. Now I just want to go into, into all the six, so you see all the six. So when you have less attachment to your things, or how things should be, then ethical conduct is easier to practice, because so many times we're not ethical out of attachment. Or what do you think? You see, you're getting angry at somebody, or you're lying to somebody. You're getting angry at somebody because that person is not doing what I want them to do. Whether this is harmful for the other person or not, you don't care really. Somebody having a party until 3 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't kill people. For many years in my life, I used to work until midnight, and then we would go to the nightclub. I'm still alive. And I was an alcoholic on top of it, so I'm still alive. Okay, so it's like, of course it's not healthy, but we had a good time, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. Again, I'm not saying you to try it out first and then to see that's not real happiness, but just to say, there's no reason to get so upset. But it's like, usually we act unethically, especially when it comes to cheating, out of attachment, or when ethical conduct would be uncomfortable also. It's because I want to be comfortable, or I'm not ethical. Maybe you can in the discussion group, you can discuss it. Like, when is it that I'm not ethical? Or if you don't want to discuss your own stuff, then you can discuss, when is it when my neighbor is not ethical? It's always much easier to see it in others, isn't it? But for you, alone, at home, to see, like, where is this resistance? Why is it so difficult for me to unethical? And we all know, so then also that comes from lower teachings. Being non-ethical means like harming others through killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, harsh words, divisive talk, gossip, negative thoughts or harmful thoughts, envy, covetousness, and wrong usage. It's pretty simple. But we are very good in cooking up excuses why we do it. Like this guy who says, I don't want to be ethical, because he said, I'm not paying for the bus. I said, look, it's not worthwhile. It's really not worthwhile to cheat for 5.9 shekel. It's not worthwhile. I mean, if you want to cheat, make big sums. At least then, it's like, because you're saying, I'm having a problem with the kids and the wife, and, I lost his job, and I understand. But then not paying for the bus is not going to get him out of the situation, and it's creating negative karma. It's creating the karma that he will be reborn in such difficult situations again and again and again and again and again. It's still stealing, because he knows that he has to pay. His mind knows that he's getting transport, so he has to pay. That creates the negative karma. Now, if you have nothing in your pocket, and you need to go somewhere, to the hospital or whatever, because somebody's dying, then of course take the bus and don't pay. But you can pay backwards, you can pay next time, you can pay twice. It doesn't work in Tel Aviv, you cannot, because it's valid for an hour and a half. You want to pay, you want to touch it 2 times, it's not working. So I had 2 free bus rides in Tel Aviv because my card was expired. It's really funny also, my card was expired. Because it's, I didn't know that these rough cough cards expire. So the first 2 bus drivers, they, and it goes like, you touch it, it goes red, and it goes, eh! So you're all like, others like, green, and this one, eh! So he just waved me in, so I said, okay. Second one again, he just waved me in. But I wanted to know what's going on, because it's like, I don't want free bus rides, one thing, and it's very unpleasant, this so So then the third one, when, you know, I said to Nick, don't pick me up, I want to take the bus, I want to find out what's wrong. So I went again, put it at the driver, and then so, skillful, do you speak English? They said, of course. So of course he has to answer my question, you know. So I said, what's wrong? So he put it back again, and then all these papers come out, which are all in Hebrew. And so he explained, and he said, well, it's expired. So I said, well, what shall I do? So he said, well, you have to go to the office. Anyway, so I went to the office near the train station, and I said, my card is expired, what can I do? He said, oh, that's no problem, I will un-expire you. So he did, so it's valid until 2026 now. And then I said, I had 2 free bus rides, can you deduct it from the credit that is still on the card? What do you think the reaction was of that? No, he didn't, not that strong. He said, no. Kind of, what? He wasn't like, but he was kind of, no, of course not, very kind. He said, you have to come to the office, we give you these 2 bus rides. So, yeah, so I offered to pay, and then somebody said they don't have a device where they can deduct in the office, it's only on the bus. So I don't know, so, but now it's okay, because an official from the bus company gave me these 2 bus rides. And I know that some of you might think that this is totally ridiculous, because it's 12 shekels, okay? But it's not, in terms of karma. It is not, yeah? So if we don't pay attention to these small actions, we will also do the big actions. If we pay attention to the small actions, you will not do the big actions. This is why. This is why. So when you have less attachment, again, you know, you don't have to become obsessive. So I'm not going to look for a bus where I can pay these 2 bus rides. It's okay. It's dealt with. I have a nice story to tell, which is nice. And so like this, so I can let go. You know, this is it. If you have less attachment, it is easier to practice ethical conduct. If you really practice non-harming and ethical conduct, your life, maybe not immediately, but with time, and this is the trust that you have in the Buddha Dharma, that it takes time for karma to ripen, your life will become easier. And actually I think, even if the outside conditions do not change, if you decide that I'm sick and tired of giving back all the time with aggression, I want to stop that, your inside life will become happier. But you need to make the decision. If you are forced not to pay back or give back because you're too weak, or the other one is too strong, or you're frightened of it, it's not going to work. Then you will feel bad and you think you're a friar, and you know, this like the worst here in Israel is like, you know, everybody needs to win all the time. How can everybody win? It's impossible. Yeah. So if you voluntarily say, okay, I let go, you know, and I talk to people who are not even coming to Dharma groups, who make an effort to let go. I see them 1 year later, they said, wow, you know, I feel so much better. The situation hasn't changed, but I just leave it. I leave the person, I don't contact them. So at least for you, you know, start to take, even with these perfections that are actually meant for others, it's good for you also. You can go to bed, you know, and there's a shame again, you know, many of us go to bed, we could have the thought before going to bed, today I didn't harm anybody. What a wonderful thing. Every day we have many occasions where we could harm somebody, bumping into them, being rude. You know, when we came in also in the bar, with the 2 cars, and aggression and all this. But we have many occasions to harm somebody, to create negative karma. Every day we have. But we didn't. What a wonderful thought in the evening. Okay, it didn't benefit anybody, but I didn't harm anybody. I could have killed somebody, especially when you drive a car. I didn't kill anybody today. Or a trottinette, or, you know, even a normal bike, you can kill somebody if you hit them. But we're not doing that, because we want to be saving the world. We want to be famous for 100% ethical, only generous, never getting angry. Oh, we can wait a long time. And then you don't need to be happy about this anymore. You don't need other people to see. You know, for the moment we still need people to affirm to us that we're good people and they need to see it. It's okay, you know. So if you have somebody around you who constantly tells you how many good things they're doing, do you know people like this? Huh? Okay. Then the instinct is what in us? What's the instinct? Instinctively, what do we... You know, I'm old, I don't hear so well, so can you speak really loud? That you want to tell them the other way, or...
What you said is not true.
Yeah, at least you want to prove to them that it's not true. Or you come with your own good actions. You want to be better than them. You know, say, yeah, okay, you're doing that, but I do like... Isn't it? That's the instinct. So then they will never stop telling you all the good that they're doing because you seem not to hear what they're saying. So if you want to make them, this is again, you know, you can use the Dharma to manipulate people in an incredible way. So please don't use it to manipulate them. But it's like you can just say, thank you, how wonderful, all these things that you... They will stop because they've been heard. You know? You can also say thank you if they don't mention it, by the way. It's okay. But if somebody, you know, there are some people who obsessively feel like the victim. On top of it, they feel like the victim. They say, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing no, nobody ever says thank you. And you just go, wow, how wonderful that you're doing all these things. Not in a cynical way. Don't be too Israeli here. Try to be a bit Swiss. Okay? Polite way. Because it is wonderful that they're doing all this. And if they only think that they're doing it, maybe they will do it at one point if you keep saying thank you. Who knows? Anyway, so when you have ethical discipline, one thing is you become a non-harming person. Here in Israel, I don't know if you know, you might lose the admiration of some people. Because they think you're weak and you're a friar, and because nobody sees how difficult it is to be a happy friar. It's really difficult. And you have trained over years not to be the happy friar. You're not proud when you say, oh, I was able to let go, I got totally cheated, but I was able to let go, I don't feel bad about it anymore. You don't feel happy when this happens, yet. Maybe some of you over these years that I keep saying these things, yeah? You still feel, I should have prevented it, I should have been able to do something, I'm a coward, I'm a friar, I don't have enough courage to defend myself. It couldn't be. So again, it's only you who discover whether you are a coward or whether you, for the sake of harmony and peace, you let go. Nobody can tell you what exactly, why you let go. Okay, so then when your life becomes easier, it's much easier to practice patience because it's not so big. And Venerable Antonio for patience, I mean, he uses such a good example. So he uses the example of when you go the first time to India. How many of you have gone to India? Okay, so many of you know the word dhaba. Yeah? Anybody doesn't know what a dhaba is? Okay. A dhaba is something out of a shack made out of wood where there's big pots, you know, where they cook. And it's very cheap, means for local. And the food is what? Very, very, very spicy. Because that's how they like it. So if you go on a local bus, not on the tourist buses, no, they go to places where it's not so spicy, hotels, this and that. So if you go to a local dhaba and you just say and point out what you want, it's a bit like a buffet. You say, I want this, 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 then they take it from the big pot, put it in a small frying pan, heat it up, put it in your thali, and then you eat it and go, oh, it's like, you know, fire in the mouth. And so you think, but I'm hungry, I'm going to eat the whole thing. You're in bed for the next 3 days with diarrhea, and your body cannot take it. It's far too much spices for the body, you know. So you have to go in doses. You know, if you want to train yourself to eat at the dhaba and to travel on local buses, or otherwise local buses, you have to take your own sandwich. But if you want to eat like the locals there, you train, and you train, you know, a little bit of chili, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then when you come home after a few years from India, you're addicted to it. If only we would get addicted as much to practicing patience. Okay, so you practice patience with small situations where you don't feel like the friar, where we don't feel, as a practice, as something that you want to train, you know. Then you fail, you train again.